I don't enjoy being in the front because to me the front is where everybody can see you, everybody can criticize you, everybody can, I don't know.
But that's even humility.
Yeah.
Don't do
it
what you want to
is.
do.
Right.
In other words, you say, I want to be in another. I don't have a problem with what you said.
Yeah.
I'm saying that even takes humility, like, not what I want.
Yeah. Not my will.
Yeah, we used to the people in church. Let me do it. Let me do it. You need to humble yourself, brother. You need to humble yourself, sister. When I'm talking to the ones with my, I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that. I didn't ask you. You said, I said, they said, we're here for him. Do what he said.
Do what he said.
That's humility.
Right.
That's true. I'm reminded when I was a young man.
Okay.
Sometimes in elementary school, when a young man would like a young lady, rather than him just telling her that,
He'll pinch her.
he'll pinch her or pull her hair.
Pull her hair.
And what I found in life, and I'm not speaking about jealousy,
Okay.
but I'm speaking about the fact that sometimes people see things in your life that they want for themselves, not your stuff.
Right,
They don't want to
right.
be you.
Right.
But I see some attributes. I see character. I see some accomplishments.
Yeah.
And when I look at myself, I want what you have. And since I'm not willing to put the work in, or it seems to me like I don't have the opportunity, it's easier to bring you down so that I can deal with me a little bit better. Because the majority of times that I've run into individuals who have done things like you said, when it's all said and done, sometimes that takes years.
Yeah.
They'll say something like, I really liked you,
Okay.
or I really looked up to you.
Okay.
Wow.
And they can have what you have in the sense of
Yeah.
you and the doctor, you're walking in what God has for you. Anyone can have that. But it takes sacrifice, it takes obedience. And the only reason that I share that, I'll often tell different individuals that are in conflict, I'll say, what if she did say that? What if he did do that? I'm just asking, is that it for them for life?
Right.
You just want them just to die and just go
Right.
away and never change? Because I tell you this, if you put an individual out your life, anybody, what value would they have had if you were patient? I said if you were patient.
If
I'm
you
not
were
saying
patient.
everybody belong, but
Right.
if you were patient, because I found that some of the same people who fought me or disliked me or caused me the most difficulty, when they came to their senses, they were some of the greatest helpers. It's just a thought.
It's-
I
right.
always tell people, I'm not telling you take abuse,
Right.
but I'm asking you, look at it through the mind of Christ.
Okay.
Okay.
Christ redeemed more people than told them, go over there and stay because you're evil.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And last time I looked, he had a great successful life.
Yeah.
Like when Peter
That's
cut
true.
the ear off that time, he didn't
You
get
know,
rid of.
that doesn't make it
Yeah,
easy,
that
but
makes
it's just reality, because the life that we live, oftentimes these slogans, these Christians slogans like we want to live different. We are the light. Okay, what is behind all of that?
Right.
What's behind the
What's
light?
behind? In other words, what did it take for you to shine?
Shine. Yeah.
What did it take for you to arrive? What did it take for you to get the degree?
Sleepless nights. some
What did it take to be a
crying,
good
some-
mother?
Yeah.
And that's why shows like this, where people see the other side, not the ugly side, but there's
Right.
more to it than just what you see.
Right.
You got the hat and you got the glasses. That's good. But you got some other stuff that we'll never see, we'll never know about.
Right.
And that's what individuals need to hear. Not your stuff, but just they need to hear a voice that understands, I know you're going through something. You
Right.
did do that. You did say that. But I know. I know on the inside. It's a reason you're going through that. And I know the answer for it. And it ain't me, it's Jesus. We are more alike because I'll beckon back to the days for those who know it. There was a show called Father Knows Best. Or my grandparents stayed married for decades.
Right.
But we know a lot of families that stayed married for decades, but it was hell and
Oh, yeah.
10 and 12 children across town.
Wow.
Yes, it was.
And
They-
so
they
it
jumped the
just
fence.
looked different. While the ratchet, well, I got 10 baby daddies and woo,
Yeah.
you see it.
Yeah.
But back here,
Uh-huh.
in
They
these
covered it up.
times,
Yeah.
it was still the same. And so as she said,
Yeah.
the gospel's going to meet
Yeah.
where it's at, because
Right.
this needed to stop back then. The
Right.
cover-ups,
Yeah.
the not having a place to vent. But
Papa
also,
was a
you
right.
don't show
Papa
everything.
was a
You
right.
don't show everything you're going through
Right.
to everybody.
That's what the temptation was thinking about. Daddy had 3 outside children and another.
But that's why when people say, let's go back in the day, it was nonsense going on back in the day.
Yeah.
It just looks different. But at the end of the day, it's still
It
nonsense.
You're right.
If you go back to the Bible days,
Mm-hmm.
they sacrificing babies.
Right.
They sleeping around.
With their relatives.
It looked different, but at the core, it's the
same.
same. And
Yeah,
that's why
the
the gospel is good then and now.
A lot of violence has been taking place. There's been violence in America, but at this present time, especially in Texas and other major cities, there are initiatives against gun and violence. And what those initiatives look like is, instead of just putting everyone in jail, tossing away the key, that are caught with guns, possessing guns, or exhibiting a gun but not actually using it, the actual government is trying to reach out and try to stop the pipeline to prison by meeting people and giving diversionary programs. And in Austin, that looks like the ATX Peace Project. I work for a non-for-profit called Life Anew, and we have partnered with the city as well as the DA's office and the police department to go into the most violent parts of Austin and not do a sweep, but say, why do you have the gun? What can we help you with? Is it mental? Is it physical?
Yeah.
We try to prevent violence. At times, if we have a heads up, we try to intervene, or we catch the aftermath. Why am I saying that? Violence has got to such a point, I'm telling you, that across America, police are more focused on the violence than some of the crime. I'm not saying anybody gets a pass, but I'm saying it's reached a point to where people are not wanting to do what they've always done because the results are the same. So I just want to encourage anybody on that in your city. You want to look and see if there are some local gun initiatives that are taking place that can actually help change your community, because they're actually going into the communities and looking for credible messengers. That means they are paying people not to be professionals, but to do just what has always taken place in neighborhoods. Be a person of influence against violence. Just something to look for in your cities.
Wow. Like, is like a neighborhood watch or something?
Even deeper than that, let's say, I'm just making it, let's say you stayed in South Park and I meet you and I say, well, listen, do you think there's violence in South Park? Well, I know some of them. Okay, I'm going to pay you. I don't need you to bring me back any information. I'm going to pay you to be an intentional influence to stop the violence. Well, what does that look like? There's more violence. When I was a criminal, there's more violent acts stopped by other criminals telling other criminals, say, let that go. Let that make it.
Okay.
They're asking citizens, grandmothers, mothers, men, young adults who have influence, don't bring us information. Actually say, let's stop this.
Yeah.
And they know that everybody needs money. So these are actual jobs. If you want to look for keywords in your city, look for credible messengers. Look for gun initiatives.
Credible message.
Credible messengers.
Okay.
Returning citizens. These are key words that are basically saying the people who got the guns, we trying to influence them to put the guns down.
Oh, okay.
And they're actually paying people and hiring people to do that, even in the city of Houston. Look it up. Credible messenger.
But are they hiring regular people?
Regular people. They're not asking you to be something you're not.
Oh.
If you are influential in your neighborhood, that's what I'm hiring you to do. I'm not hiring you to shuffle papers. I'm not hiring you to be a thug. I'm hiring Judith. Just keep being intentional about stopping the violence. And I'm going to help you be intentional. That may mean we may come to the neighborhood and we may give clothes. We may give food. We may provide other resources. But what's different is it needs to come from the neighborhood for the neighborhood instead of people outside of the neighborhood. That's why it's called credible messengers. They're not just looking for a messenger. They're looking for someone with credibility within the community.
Wow.
Something to look for in the
That's
city.
amazing.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I'm just trying to process that. Credible
Credible
messengers.
messengers.
I got it.
And there's even, I have a friend here named Reginald Smith. They've actually hired some individuals in Houston. I haven't gotten into the details because I haven't had an opportunity to come down here, but the organization I work for is called Life Anew, and that's in Austin. But I'm telling you, when I go to conferences, whether it's in Atlanta or it's been in Austin, I've met people from various cities, whether it be from St. Louis, Baltimore, California, and people are coming together to stop the violence, but in a unique way. Wow. They're only doing what the streets were doing anyway, which is speak to some people to stop the violence. Arresting people, I'm not speaking against arrests. I've been arrested. I'm only saying that there's a movement to try to change how violence is looked at and help is being provided rather than just judgment.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I really want you to talk about this book here. This looks like I need to go take a course somewhere.
Okay, so what I did with that, it's being offered for parolees. And the reason being, because if you, let me see it real quick, right here, if you contact me on my website, I can tell you a little bit more about it. But things such as provisions and requirements, in other words, we need things when we come home. If you go Google, how can someone survive after they get out of prison? It's going to give you a list of things, but is it going to give the individual who's reading it, is it going to give those facts in a manner that they understand it? And so simply put, when I tell you to get a job, give me a suggestion about a job. Right. Give me something to look for beyond a job where I'm just making minimum wage. And then give me a spiritual principle where, well, okay, I'm doing this, but I'm having a hard time. I'm doing this, but I want more money. Okay, I'm going to provide that. And so that's why I put together a booklet. Just to basically say, you don't just need a job, but I want to talk to you about being embarrassed about the job that you might start at. I started working for $7.35. Back when they had penny loafers, I didn't have penny loafers. I put quarters in there. For those who understand what I'm saying, I've always had a problem with women and money. So how did I do over 27 years and come out and take a job making $7.35? Because I did not despise the day of small beginnings. Right. And the help that I got to go from $7.35 for 90 days is what I provide in here. And so, but you need to talk to people about that. When my main concern is money, I'm not talking about just money to make it, but I'm saying I have an image.
Right.
Nobody's speaking about that. They're just saying, just take the job. They're not going to take the job. That's why the racism rate is bad. I took the job, but I took the job because I was equipped to take that job knowing it's not where I start. I'll get better. But I wrote some things to try to help some people do the understanding, to bridge that gap. Right now, I tell my friends all the time when I go back to prison to minister, I said out of, let's say, 20 individuals, I'm going to say in Houston, all of us had aggravated offenses. That means we all had problems with guns. They all have good jobs. Everybody's doing something right. But how did we go from this to that? Because we walked and leaned on one another. And that ugly stuff, that pride, that arrogance, you know, things like that. That's why I wrote this, to get to the meatier subjects, not just tell a person, hey, you need to get on the internet and find out about investing. Okay, what if they don't know how to invest? Actually, give me practical. Say, look up this type of fund, look up that type of fund. And that's what this is. And the reason I love the take two, and that's why I asked to show it, is because we've been given a second chance. Some a third, some a fourth, some a fifth. And the thing about a movie, when they shoot a movie, they start from the end. And that's what I'm telling people. Look beyond your current circumstances where you want to be. And then that helps us make the decisions every day to get there. Instead of just, I got to do this. Like, I want to write a book. Why do you want to write a book? I want to write a book to make money. Okay, what do you want to do with the money? Oh, I want to have a big house. Oh, why do you want to have a big house? Show me a design of the house.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know. You want to get married? Yeah, I want to get married. Okay, where does she want to live? These are practical steps that I cover.
That's good stuff.
He said this brother is on point.
Because I'm not talking from a book. I lived it. And I just happen to be an individual that people such as yourselves help, that I'm like, I want to help, but I didn't forget how I got help. You're telling me where you want to be, but you need to speak to me where I'm at. There are a lot of kids who don't have to be criminals that they are. And instead of just saying they shouldn't be, look at why are they? Not as a justification, but as, okay, what's the biggest thing? I want respect. Okay, let's look at respect, because you're not respecting me. But you want, and when you talk to them like that, it just causes them to think. And if they don't, they end up like me, going to prison for quite a long time. But guess what? What you told me when I was little, now I'm doing it when I'm old.
Right.